Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be giving my initial reactions to the Season 8 mid-season finale for The Walking Dead, Season 8 Episode 8, How It's Gotta Be. With that being said, huge warning of spoilers for everything in the show up to Episode 808, and let's jump right into this. Now, let's start out by discussing the fate of Carl. So, sadly, the unconfirmed spoilers were kinda true. Carl's fate is sealed, and we will have to learn to accept it. I'll most likely discuss the future of the show without Carl Grimes in a future video, as we dive deep into what the hell they're gonna do in future seasons. This is a huge left turn from the comics, and honestly I'm very nervous about whether this will help or hurt the show. I feel like this is either a huge change that the show needed, or it's something that will ultimately hurt it beyond repair. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but let's move on to the cold hard facts. Okay, so first off, myself along with quite a few other fans called that Carl got bitten back in episode 806, I believe, helping Sadiq take out those zombies in the woods. I discussed it in a previous video, I believe just this last week, but there is a moment when a zombie is aggressively attacking Carl. He pushes the zombie to the side of him, and the zombie just kinda disappears for a moment as he fights off a second zombie. He ends up pulling out his gun and killing both of them, but the deed is done and he knows this. This is probably why he took on Sadiq as his responsibility, as he's practically dying in order to bring Sadiq back to safety. Negan attacking Alexandria was just sheer coincidence, and that's also most likely why Carl was so ready to die for everyone, because he was just going to die anyways, knowing that he was bit. As the episode continues on, we can see Carl get progressively more weak as explosions go off all around him, until he is finally revealed to be bitten at the end of the episode, and extremely pale as well. Now, I do sort of enjoy this cliffhanger, if you can call it that, and let me explain. We know Carl is bitten, so it's not a debate whether he was going to die or not. He doesn't have to crawl under any dumpsters, none of that BS. The unconfirmed spoiler was that he was going to get injured or stabbed at the gates while answering Negan, but that was not the case. Carl is bitten on his side, they can't amputate anything, it's been too long, he's pale, he's going to die. And although Carl's fate is sealed, he still has an entire episode left to act as a final hoorah for him as he is given his goodbyes off of the show. I've only seen the beginning of Talking Dead so far, but executive producer Scott Gimple did tease that Carl's time left will be very important. It's up to him how he decides to spend it, and Scott Gimple explains by saying that Carl has some unfinished business to attend to. So, although Carl will only be in the mid-season premiere, episode 809, and then that's it, he's off the show, he pretty much gets an entire goodbye episode where I assume there will be very sad moments, including possibly flashbacks, along with final conversations with the entire group, including Rick and Michonne. As I said, Carl is already very pale and weak, so I'm unsure if he'll be able to do anything else heroic with his final moments, but he did attempt to sacrifice himself this episode, along with throwing all those smoke bombs, setting up the plan to keep everyone else living at Alexandria safe in the sewers, so I think he did a pretty good job already. I'll be sure to discuss Carl in future videos, but let's move on to the rest of the episode. So, the Kingdom attack concludes with Morgan waiting outside the walls for an opportunity to save King Ezekiel. Ezekiel locked himself in the Kingdom with Gavin and the Saviors as Carol brings the Kingdom people to the hilltop, so we'll just have to speculate on how this unfolds during the following days and weeks until the show comes back sometime in February with the next episode. Yeah, it's a long wait, but there's a lot to discuss here, so we'll be sure to get on that. And speaking of the hilltop, with all this talk of Maggie fortifying the hilltop for the final standoff, this definitely foreshadows the big finale of All Out War from the comics, which involves exactly that. Alexandria got bombed and destroyed in the comics just like in the show, and everyone decides to relocate to the hilltop. The finer details of everything are a bit mixed up, but the show still seems to be headed in that direction. So with all that being said, although I am very disappointed we won't see Carl in future seasons, I'm still very happy with this episode. I felt like it filled me with anxiety, it kept me on the edge of my seat, and it kept me wanting more. Maybe this was because I was constantly waiting to see whether or not Carl was gonna die, but again, that's just me. Let me know what you guys thought about all this down in the comment section below, along with what I should focus my future videos on next. I'll obviously be discussing the fate of Carl, but there's also so many other aspects of the show to discuss, such as Ezekiel, Gabriel, Eugene, the fact that Negan was last seen in Rick's house, the fact that Dwight has been outed and must now stay with Rick's group. There's so much to talk about. Let me know, and I'll be sure to create a bunch of discussion videos as I talk about all the theories we can come up with between now and the next episode. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, or even subscribe for more Walking Dead Season 8 content in the near future. If you'd like to take that extra step in helping support my videos, consider checking out my Patreon, where there's a bunch of different rewards involving the channel, such as a chance to directly influence the videos being produced. It isn't necessary by any means, but it could really help in the long run. But as always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.